nobody knows probably not many people anymore know who Norman was. He was the guy who supervised.
Not everybody can see it. So this is Norman Hoflinger.
Norman Hoflinger.
Okay.
The Reverend Mr. Norman Hoflinger. So he was a minister in the Reformed Church in the United States. And he started his ministry in, I think, North Dakota. So the kids can correct me if I'm wrong. He started preaching in German in 1955. So he graduated from Old Westminster, and those folks didn't speak English well enough. So he preached in German for 2 years. And then I served with him in Kansas City. He was 63. So we were together 2 years, and then he sort of semi-retired and went up to South Dakota and took another congregation, so it's not exactly retirement. But so I was an assistant pastor and then an associate pastor for 2 years with Norman. I worked very closely with him. And so I got really an extended internship with him out of seminary. And that was a great, great experience to be with a man who'd been in the ministry as long as he had by the time I met him. And I'm very grateful to have been with him. I learned so much. I think about Norman every day.
Well, that's good.
And then the other guy, Warren Embry, Dr. Warren Embry, is the guy who taught me Reformed Christianity when I was in college. I was a confused, quasi-dispensational, semi-charismatic Southern Baptist, although not officially. I didn't get rebaptized. But
can't you add a couple more things on there? I mean,
that's what I was.
Were you young? Were you restless at all?
Oh yeah, sure. If I had not been delivered into the Reformed Church, I would have become emergent, one of those things. I would have been one of those guys, no question. I was reading all the books that were going to send me on that emergent track.
Well, you've got the hairdo for it.
Exactly. I was genetically destined to be an emerging Baptist evangelical, and so it's a long story how I got connected with them. This little German Reformed church in Lincoln, Nebraska, St. John's Reformed. But Warren had not long before this graduated from the old RE seminary back when it was still a real Reformed seminary, and
that's Reformed Episcopal over on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, in Philadelphia. The old Reformed Episcopal Seminary. I think it exists in some form now, but it's mostly Anglo-Catholic as I understand things. Happy to be corrected if I'm wrong, but it was back then. They called it you call it prayer book Presbyterians. So they were Episcopalian, but they were reading Voss and they were reading Murray and all that stuff and teaching that stuff. And these guys, a couple of guys had just graduated and from there maybe a couple of years before, and he had gathered a group of us, and I was on the tail end of this. He was teaching them the institutes. He was teaching them Greek. He's a very gifted guy. And out of that group, Alan Mallory and I went to seminary, and Alan's retired from ministry now. Chuck Hill was in that group. Chuck taught, Charles Evan Hill taught patristics and New Testament at RTS Orlando for years and years. One of the world's great patrologists. And we were all together at University of Nebraska and at St. John's. And he was a couple of years ahead of me at Westminster when I went out to Escondido. Anyway, so that's who those people are. And Warren, I think, is probably retired. But I just wanted to say thank you to them.